Okay,
Yes, Andres.
I guess we can
Okay.
start.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to thank all of you for being here. This is the City of Laredo Blue Ribbon Committee for people with disabilities. And today is September 18th. So thank you all for being here. We have a guest, the airport director. What is-
Assistant Airport Director,
Oh,
thank you.
okay, well, I'm moving you up, promoting you. Okay. Thank you for being here. We don't have a quorum yet, so I guess we can start with, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And the first one is to review and approve the minutes of June 19th, which was last meeting. Of
Yes.
course, we can't ultimately approve them because we need
Quorum.
quorum. Okay, so if you all can just take a look at those.
All right.
And has everyone received a copy of those? And-
Okay, I'm here.
Okay. please.
I'm here too.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, sir.
Ms. Gutierrez, Mr. Delgado. Again, thank you for joining us.
Do they have the minutes? They have the minutes.
You both have the minutes. Andrea, send them out.
1, 2, 3, 4. Are we still under? Do we have
Yeah.
5? We will not. Okay. Mr. Delgado and
Yes.
Ms. Gutierrez, this is Daniel.
Yes.
Can you take a look at the minutes and just let us know if you were here last meeting so you can take a look at them, see if there are any changes or
I
additions?
received the email, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reviewed them before I got to the phone today.
He's walking in. Hi.
Okay. Ms. Sato also called Mr. Chair that she wasn't going to be able to join.
Not?
The three workforce are on train.
Yeah, I had heard that they were going to be in Austin or
Yeah,
somewhere.
they're in Austin.
We've been seeing all the emails and events we're having. We're having a disaster journey.
Yeah, we're part of it.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Your stuff has been going to
Carol Turcott, we talked about the summer Earn and Learn program, but isn't that kids with disabilities? The Earn and Learn? That's for kids with disabilities, isn't that correct? Because it doesn't say that here. It just says summer Earn and Learn.
That's the program that we have here. Hablan con ustedes.
Hi, Jaime. Thanks for being here. We have quorum because of you. Yay.
Great.
I'm going to paint a big Q on your back.
And 5 stars.
Quorum maker.
Okay, so then this should say for people with, for kids with disabilities. Porque no dice. I mean, we know, but if it's somebody picks it up or reads it, they're not gonna know.
Because it's the, isn't it the program that they have some...
Yes, pero no dice. Maybe we might wanna add that.
4.
You want us to put that where it says the Summer Earn and Learn program?
Yeah, because,
Program
and
for
you know,
children.
A program for individuals.
because we know,
Okay.
but other people may not know.
Okay, no, that makes
Hello.
sense.
I'm so used to signing for trains.
Thank you.
No, and I think it's important because the city's about to sign, we already signed an MOU for SEA, for Earn and Learn. So the city and workforce have an MOU to place students in all departments, not just in health. Then we just got a new one, and I'm sorry that Jeanette isn't here to explain it. This is for any age group. And
That
instead
is
of just the
awesome.
summer, it's year round.
See, that's what we
And
were
so the
hoping.
city, yeah.
Okay, we're
gonna-
moving. See, and all of that is so good, but you and I pick up steel, you and I pick up, acronyms like MOU or whatever, and we know. But other citizens, earn and learn, ¿qué es eso? Kind of thing, right? We need to explain to
The city,
people with disabilities.
and I was gonna do it under announcement, they actually recognized 5 of the kids that did seal this summer. They're gonna bring them back because it was impromptu, they wanted to formally recognize and
That's
give
so awesome.
certificates. And there was a miscommunication, because we wanted you all to be there too.
But then
The
it was
kids showed up.
canceled.
The
And
kids
people
showed up.
Oh my goodness.
And 2 of them spoke that they had a wonderful experience in getting the job experience. And one of them is visually impaired and one is hearing impaired. So.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
And they spoke well.
Well, see, we're moving, and all these wonderful things are happening. But I think we need to put people with disabilities because,
Okay, we'll do that.
any citizen picking up or reading would not know.
Okay. And Mr. Chair, you do have a quorum now.
Okay, good. So now we can either approve or disapprove of the minutes then. So do I have a motion to approve?
I just
Are you
have,
guys still reading?
I think you
Still
just need to
reading.
make a correction. I wasn't present in August. I don't think so. No, I don't know.
Ms. Gutierrez, Mr. Delgado,
Was I
did you
here?
hear?
Oh, in June, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I was. I just remember.
Hello, Dr. Gonzalez?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
I
I
just wanted to
was.
make sure you all heard us.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Did she bring the sample
The
application?
chair did motion to accept the minutes because we do have a quorum now.
Okay?
We need to ask Cecilia if she got it.
Ms. Gutierrez will provide HR with sample applications to research.
Yeah, we need to follow up and ask her if she got it.
One.
And not to
Training
remind
ahorita a la 1, so I have to go
¿Verdad?
train.
because I don't know, did she?
Did you want to?
Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Gutierrez,
Yes, Dr. Yes.
do you have the minutes there with you?
In my phone, I'm using the phone because I'm on the road.
Okay, well, there was a second item there regarding the MOU with the city of Laredo. In the very, very last sentence, it says, Ms. Gutierrez will provide HR with sample applications and to research what other employers are doing. Was that done?
I have the document. I completely neglected to send it over. I can send it over this afternoon. That's in my computer.
Okay, I'm just
We
inquiring.
need to follow
I'm
up.
glad you guys brought that up. I completely forgot about that. I apologize.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you.
I think I have a correction, just to clarify. On the, under update on showing of public service announcements to hire persons with disabilities, midway through the paragraph, more or less. There's a semicolon, child find semicolon. Dr. Ruthinker explained that child find is federal law that mandates all school districts to identify children with special needs before the age of 3 and have an individualized program specific to the needs of the child. Can we add in place?
Okay.
Can we add in place by age 3? Just to clarify. Did that change ever?
Mm-mm. No, we need to go back and,
Because we tried.
well, I think that we need to pursue that. Be a little bit more aggressive about that.
I agree.
If we don't push, it's not gonna happen.
That's right.
I hear anyone motioning to approve the minutes?
With the corrections?
Yes. Okay, some corrections have been made, so with the corrections included, I hear, so Ms. Bruce, yes, Doctor? And I have a
move.
second, okay.
Who's second?
Yes.
I thought that's how you would put that, right? I'll be on my list.
Okay, going on to item, so the minutes were approved. The next item is number 3, the public comments.
Mr. Chair, no one has signed up.
Okay. Item 4, we have discussion possible action on the next items is discussion possible action for special needs area at the airport. And so we have a guest today who's going to elaborate what that means.
Yes, well, good
No,
morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Let me just touch base with you real quick. I know that Dr. Ruth Hincher, I don't know if she, did you send that, those items to everyone?
I sent
or
them
no?
to you, Dr. G, yes, and to you, just for you to look at it. Basically, what I found is that there are so many tools from TSA online, it's unbelievable. I was really impressed with the Wings for Autism program. That was amazing. So I just brought that up because I thought, had Dr. Gonzalez not told us that you were coming, I wouldn't have looked for these things and I wouldn't have known. But there's a lot of support by TSA.
Yes, there is. Well, first off, let me introduce myself. I'm Elsie Workston, the Assistant Director for the Laredo International Airport.
And does a great job.
Well, thank you, Doctor. And we're always trying to expand on the services that we offer at our airport here in Laredo. Of course, as you know, there's various federal requirements on airports across the country to provide services for people with disabilities of all ages and all across different areas, from vision impairment to handicap that you need wheel accessible, or even different programs that we can offer to children as well. In addition to that, we are recipients at Laredo International Airport of by the Federal Aviation Administration of different grants. Every year we've been very fortunate to get grants for improvements on the runways, on the airfield, aprons. And so all those grants come with grant assurances, and that also reinforce our requirements and to comply with the different mandates, right? But all those things put aside, we would like to do services and programs that we can expand upon the bare minimum requirements. And so we've been working at the airport on a children's area, which is the first year. We've never had that before. And in working in this little children's area, which would have seating especially for them, a first eye view to the ramp so they can see the airplanes, how the staff is moving on the airfield. We wanted to make it inclusive and welcoming to all children. And so we understand that sometimes children with autism, for example, have a very special needs that and make it really stressful on the family as well when traveling. As stressful as it is on the average passenger, I couldn't imagine much more on a child with autism or even an adult with autism. So we wanted to partner with your group, with your board, since you guys are experts, to see how in our local community we can maybe do this area that we have for children, maybe like a sensory area, where the children with autism or children with special needs can come in and relax prior to boarding a plane, and so the parents can also be more relaxed and they can enjoy the trip more while they're in the plane. And you're right, Doctor, we have partnered in the past with TSA. They offer a range of services as well. all for free, and even months in advance of a family traveling. So months before, we've had passengers where we escort them through the process of TSA, allow the child to go in even without tickets so they can understand the process of the line. They do get an expedited processing, so they're not waiting in the queue for as long as the average passenger. Then we also partner with the airlines to help them through that process. Sometimes even they give them a little tour of an airplane, and they get priority seating as well. So those are different things that we could do with families. And so bringing it back in, again, it's a special project that we're working at the airport. I wanted to come in today, and I apologize, the director's not here. He's traveling back. He's at Houston right now, traveling back to Laredo, but we wanted to invite you, reach out to your board and invite you to the airport, maybe doing a walkthrough with us, in case you haven't flown in a while or you haven't maybe seen it, the area, show you the area that we have, and maybe get your best thoughts on how we can make it better.
You know, immediately when you mentioned Spectrum, there are, I don't know how specific you want to get or if you want to keep it generic, but when you talk about Spectrum kids, they're all different. Just like we're all different, but their sensory integration needs are very specific to each child. For example, I may be a person on the spectrum that is very sensitive to flashing lights. So what can you do about that? Or perhaps loud noises or sudden noises might bother me. So you're looking at, you know, ear gear for kids like that. So some are tactily sensitive or crave tactile stimuli. So when you talk about spectrum kids, I really don't have a grasp, or are you looking at like a generic type of thing, or are you looking at maybe a screener that where you go with the parents ahead of time to try to meet the needs of each child? Or I don't know how specific you want to get.
Well, like I said, this is a very new topic for us. The idea came in as I'm a parent, I have small children, and I always see parents that travel with children. I myself have not traveled, believe it or not, with my kids because of the stress of it all. I feel for the parents, you know, they're in their plane, tight spot, the seats keep getting smaller and smaller as it is. And it's very stressful. I see it all the time when I travel for work, and it's, we can go different ways. I would like to start off by doing it maybe a little bit more generic, as to not delay the process or the project, because we do have families that travel, especially when they go to Vegas. They like to take the kids to from there, either
Talk
Vegas
about
or LA.
Stimulation, oh my gosh.
Yes. Or sometimes we do have a lot of families from different law enforcement that come into Laredo, and when they relocate their families, sometimes they're traveling back and forth up north to go see the rest of their members, and they're traveling with a lot of small children. So I would like to maybe do something more generic to start the process or continue the process, that is, and then get your input if possible from yourself, and maybe other partner agencies that can help. I would like to put the same offer on the table for the local schools to bring in maybe a group of children that could help.
Good idea.
Wonderful. And so that way we can get more higher goals moving forward and see what we can do. I mean, this is all on funding locally from the airport. So I think the director has been very welcoming. We do have an airport director, Mr. Jeffrey Miller, who's on board and is very familiar with this type of projects. He comes in from Pittsburgh International, and they just created one of the largest sensory rooms in the country on any airport.
Cool.
And so there's different things. I mean, the sky's the limit, right? Spacing, location, and funding is always going to be a concern, of course, but we would like to work through those and maybe put us on a goal what we could do a once we have the goals more set, we can do a cost analysis and then phase in whatever we could do. And I know there's different, from what I've researched, is like different headgear you can put for children with the noises. We can even, there's even like whole rooms where it's a dark or really dim
For kids that are visually,
lighting, water features to
Waterfall.
calm
For the
down.
SLC, remember the SLC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all had some awesome
Right.
things that you know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of neat products out there. I think that at the beginning can be incorporated without necessarily having to build a whole new terminal for it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And of course, it's not just for autism. We would like to include everywhere
Other-
there.
mhm.
I know in the past we've done tours for the schools. I myself had given tours for children that are blind or partially blind, and we take them to different parts of the airport. We show them even a tour with a local firefighter that we have, the team that we have in the airport, go into the truck, put on the gear, see the airplanes a little bit more up close. So those are all things that we would like to continue doing. And partnering with you would be, I think, one of the ways that we
Very
can
good,
reach those
thanks.
goals.
Great.
Sounds amazing. Sounds
Let
good.
me just clarify with something. Typically, when people travel, including us, we get a little like edgy, okay, because
Yeah.
we're about to get in a plane, and so anyone who's traveled, usually you have timelines. You have to be somewhere, okay, and so you're always running. And I don't know if parents have a tendency of transferring that anxiety to their children, okay.
Of course they do.
And so the question here is, you talked about sensory appliances, okay, or features. And so I'm assuming that when we talk about children with autism, we're talking about, what we're trying to achieve is for them to be calm and not basically just
Jittery.
agitate them
Yeah.
even
Mhm.
more, okay, or excite them or have them create even a larger concern.
Yeah.
And so I know that, I don't know about the school district, but I know at the local mental health authority, which also serves individuals with autism, okay, we used to have a sensory area, a sensory room, okay? And again, it has to do with all these light features and,
Right.
and water features and stuff like this, where when people were, when the kids got a little, were having difficulties with their behavior, they were usually taken into the room and it's dark, the lights are diminished, okay, and there's light features and there's possibly even music and things of that nature. And so in order for you to achieve that, I guess I don't know how you all feel, but I don't think that you could just do it. If that's what you all want to achieve, then I'm assuming that it would have to be a more, I don't want to say secluded, or a more
Enclosed area.
but an area where it's been designated for this, okay, as opposed to in an open area.
Mhm.
So I don't, what is it that the airport wants to achieve? Okay, is that what we're trying to go for? Is that what we're trying to do, is to calm them before they access the airplane, okay?
Mhm.
Because it's just not natural that when people travel, unless you do it every week, okay? Typically you're late, you're rushing, okay, and so I'm assuming that parents have an ability to transfer that concern over to their children,
Yes.
okay? But I think it's a good idea. I think it's an excellent idea. And again, I guess in general terms, I think all children of all ages, regardless of whether they're well or not, or they have an issue or no, they're not, they're all interested in planes and how they fly
Yes.
and how the airport operates. And so, yes, that would be real interesting to see how we can apply
So
it.
do we have a room? Do we have a room designated or no?
We have an area designated.
But not really a room.
It's not really a room, no.
Okay.
But like I said, moving for a larger goal, a room would be the ultimate feature that we would like to work with, precisely for the things that you mentioned right now.
And Mr. Chair, in speaking a little bit to Mr. Miller and Elsie, first of all, they're to be commended for
Yes.
Right.
looking at this. And that's what this committee has been looking at new standards that other cities are doing, because Laredo deserves that too. So they're to be commended for taking on this initiative and then coming to you. 'Cause we have the schools, workforce is not here, and vocational, the folks that deal with certainly persons who are visually impaired, persons who have different disabilities, hearing, sight. Mr. Delgado is a stakeholder, he's a consumer, and he's on the phone. You may want to share some things, but you know, they're reaching out to this committee for your expertise. Certainly the schools, because you already deal with it in the school level. One of the things that I was going to recommend, I don't know if you and the director have ever visited the Cherish Center at UISD, because it's a facility strictly for kids with disabilities, and they do a great job, and that's at UISD.
They develop vocational skills.
Schools, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then maybe scheduling a trip for you and Mr. Miller, so both of you can see it. Because
Yes.
it's a great effort, but also the programs that
I
LISD
have
is
one
doing
IT class.
as well.
It's just one classroom. I don't have a whole building, sorry. I have one classroom.
Funding is always a
Funding is
concern,
always an
yeah.
issue.
Yes.
No, yes, I would love that. I would probably get your contact information
Yes.
and coordinate a visit. We would really appreciate that. And likewise, you know, I put the offer out there. I'll coordinate with the doctor here and invite you all maybe for one of your next meetings.
To have it at
We
the
can
airport.
host it
Yes.
at the airport for you, and then maybe we can do a little walkthrough.
We want the full experience.
Of
You gotta
course.
put us on a plane and fly us out to
Yes.
Las
So
Vegas.
you can experience the stress.
She mentioned Las
Pittsburgh.
Vegas. I mean, not just
Pittsburgh will be fine with me.
Yeah.
To go see the room over
The room
there.
over there.
Okay, then 9:30 it
That's
is at
true.
night. We'll have the meeting. Just in time for the Vegas flight. But no, please, I welcome you to go visit, because it is your airport. We're trying to do more community outreach and stay in touch with what our community needs. I'll be honest, we don't have the amount of travelers that we have on a large hub, but nonetheless, even if it's one family that needs to travel, I think we need to have that for them, and just make the experience more pleasant and welcoming and smooth. Yes, I think it's the goal. It's not perfect, we have lots to work with. I know moving forward, we're also on the outside of the terminal, we're gonna be adding more handicap space,
Good.
the spaces on the long-term parking.
great.
We're looking to having more a range of services as well. We're working with the airlines for services of the wheelchair accessibility, and the airlines have a great program for that. So again, little by little, but we're trying to bring all those range of services here.
Sure, and I guess one of the easiest things is to always look at what other airports are doing.
Of course.
They're more progressive and more advanced than Laredo.
Sometimes.
And so I guess that always helps, especially areas like, somewhere there's a lot of children traveling out of like Orlando and stuff, but there's
Yeah.
probably like airports, there's areas in the Orlando airport that are designated for kids.
Mhm.
And Mr. Chair and Dr. Withinger did share some information. I'll send it to you and Mr. Miller as well, of some of the examples of what other airports, and I think you already shared, you're doing research, you're ahead of the game. But I think some of the information Dr. Withinger found, I'll forward it to you.
Wonderful, thank you, appreciate that. Really welcome.
They're great tools, but by the same token, I was thinking not everybody has access to the internet. So it's another thing to consider.
Mr. Chair, just so we can confirm that, would the committee like to have the next meeting at the airport so we can coordinate it with?
We have it at
PNC, can he
We
just?
have it at 11, it's real close to lunchtime, so the airport going to supply some.
We would love to host you.
Have a wonderful
See, if you
restaurant
don't
there. That's
ask,
on
you
Bullet.
won't receive anything.
But can PAC film us there?
Yes,
They
yes,
can?
yes.
He'll be at the airport next.
Yeah,
Next
we'll-
month,
we'll-
is it
we'll-
once a month?
Yes.
once a month.
Yeah, just let us know if you can your date's open, and we'll be
I
there.
believe so,
Mhm,
yeah.
we'll be there. It's typically the third Wednesday of every month.
Yes.
The 16th, I believe.
Let me double check, because I think if it's the third Wednesday, we might have another board
The
meeting there
16th.
too.
The 16th. Because I was writing in
Me
that date this
too.
morning at 8, so I remember.
I was putting in my Google Calendar. I'm trying to try something
Which would
different.
be
Thinking
October
is that
the,
it?
Third Wednesdays.
the 16th?
Yes.
The best.
And if not, November, if the next meeting is
Sure.
at your convenience.
Well, no, October is fine. It's at 11. That should be fine. If we have at 12 another meeting, so we should have enough time.
Okay.
Between 11 and 12.
That's good.
Is that enough
Thank
time?
you.
And we'll try
Yes,
not to talk
absolutely.
too much.
Well, you know,
Get
you
through in
can
an
have your
hour.
meeting and then afterwards we can go on the tour and then
Oh, all right.
finish
Sounds
off your meeting, right? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. Well, we appreciate it, and just so the committee does to better integrate with the different services in the community. We've had them at the schools, we've had them at a restaurant, we've had them at the theater,
Okay.
where we viewed a movie just like we were visually impaired. So
Mhm.
they do move around to
Wonderful.
have the meeting.
We do meetings in vivo.
And we- on the go.
But
Definitely.
no.
Thank
Elsie,
you
we
for everything you
appreciate
guys
you.
do.
No,
Yeah.
Elsie, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
So great.
Yeah, it's good that the city and certain areas of the city are moving forward and advancing and trying to find ways of how to accommodate and make things more comfortable for individuals with disabilities. So we thank you for that.
No, thank you. No. We can only try,
Sure.
but we need your help.
You can't be accused of not trying to do something. So,
You know what? If I don't forget, which is a possibility now that I'm getting older, but if I don't forget, I'll bring you the screener that I used to use for parents.
Okay.
And some of the TSA stuff advises parents to let the airport know ahead of time.
Yes.
If you use the screener with them, you'll know exactly what you're dealing with. If the
Okay.
child is sensitive to visual stimuli, auditory stimuli, you can better plan for that child.
Well, you know, interesting that you say that because we are in the process as well. We have a lot of new things coming up at the airport. One of which is a brand new website, and the website would have its own page just for disabilities as
Great.
well, which will point families to different services available at our airport, in
Beautiful.
particular to include TSA or the
Beautiful.
airlines. Because each agency offers their own set of services. In addition to that, we have recently moved staff downstairs in the lobby. We have a whole desk there that would allow families to come in also to the airport. So not just online, but for those that you mentioned don't have internet access, they can actually come into the airport, speak to one of our representatives.
That's beautiful.
Maybe with the help of the screener that you mentioned, we can then identify where we can help them or guide them through the process. So those are things that we're hoping we'll be able to train staff on, but have that more one-on-one with the different members of our community.
good.
But I mean, I welcome it. Whatever your recommendations are.
You know, there's some tools that are so simple and yet they facilitate. So you're saying so it'll be more pleasant for, and I keep going back to AU, to spectrum disorder, because it's the fastest growing really disability. It's incredible. We're growing it exponentially. You know, the kids that are born with AU. But anyway, I went to a workshop last year and I was recalling she's a PhD in speech pathology and her specialty is working with parents of kids that are on the spectrum. One of the tools that I saw, actually she had videos, she presented videos of parents actually traveling on a plane, you know, little, not the whole trip of course, but
Yeah.
little, you know.
Little clips.
And something so simple. The parent sat ahead of time with a child and drew like a little road across a piece of paper, and then all along the place occurrences that the child could expect. Because it was, Mom, when are we gonna get there?
Like a
And it's
TSA
we're
line.
here,
Okay.
we're here, we're here. When are we gonna get on the plane? Okay, that's from here, visually showing, from here to here. And we've got to do these 2 things before we get there. We're almost there. And just that visual
Yeah.
map
Of the steps.
of the steps helps the child have a better and more calmer.
Well, even for the adults, that's amazing.
That would help me.
I mean, I still get jittery every time I'm gonna, I have to plan ahead 2 hours before, make sure I get to this line first, and
It's like
I
self-calming.
mean,
Yeah, we're almost there.
And that would be wonderful.
Yeah, it's such a
If
simple
we could
thing.
do something like that
Such
and
a
incorporate it into our
simple
website.
thing. Such a simple thing.
Yes.
So
Just
they
a
could
tool
see.
for parents. And like
Yeah.
you said, would help anybody. That's
I
a little
would
bit
love
stressed as I
something
get
like
a
that.
twitch in my eye.
And,
I mean,
we can definitely
There's tools,
maybe do something
simple
like
things,
that
yeah.
and put a sketch, like you mentioned, and then of our local airport and
Oh, that would be great. A map
a
of the
little map,
airport.
like a layout.
And have it
Yeah, and so they
printed.
can
And
see
then
this is
have
what
the-
to expect.
And have the little blank here of, connecting flight and, then over here, we've got your
ending flight, yeah.
grandmothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things, I haven't been able to, in my research, find, and maybe your board can help me, is demographics of our community.
Oh, I provided that.
we-
Remember when we were looking at the
We can give you
grant? The
Wonderful.
transportation grant?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can provide you that.
What are like our demographics, and if we have already planned out some of the, I don't know if you're able to share that or not, but the different disabilities in our local community. And so maybe when we're going through the project, we identify these are the larger groups that we're seeing in this area here. And so we have a better understanding of what we're working with. And so, because usually the way we've been going right now, it's on a one-to-one basis.
I'm also thinking about, I want to say 5 years ago, I guess that's old data, but the university is constantly asking for information from the school districts for a student success initiative that they built this huge building for student success. They got a gigantic grant. But anyway, they're always gathering information and demographics on specifically what you're asking, so why reinvent the wheel?
Would be a good-
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, they get
whatever
it
you
from the
already have,
schools.
yeah.
Yeah, they get it from the schools.
Wonderful.
But I think it's Carmelita Ramirez at TAMU that originally wrote the grant, and I suppose that the Student Success Initiative building, there must be somebody there that's still coordinating the demographics. They can get that to you. 'Cause-
We'll talk to him. Dr. Kilburn right now is leading on behalf of TAMU. The different persons get it, but he
is the coordinator? He probably
so
already
he
has
compiles
it.
all the
grants.
data.
Yeah.
He probably already has
So
it.
we'll touch base with
Okay,
him and get it.
appreciate that. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you for giving me
Thank you.
some time out of your busy schedule to come and visit
We're real
with you.
grateful to you.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
asking. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that airport's moving forward.
Yeah. And if you ever have any ideas, moving forward, obviously this is a particular project that we're trying to do for children, but we're always looking at making the facility as a whole better. So if there's anything else, maybe when you're there next month, and there's other items that we can easily fix, then by all means, please let us know and we can tackle those things.
Thank you, Miss Elsie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome to stay.
Okay.
And you're welcome to come back and visit anytime.
Thank you. I will.
Good. Next item is the discussion possible action on membership. Last,
Mr. Chair, you asked us to compile, and I think everybody's got this,
thank
the
you for doing that
attendance.
for us.
Ms. Gutierrez, Mr. Delgado, I don't know, did they get it? Okay, good.
Yes.
You did get the copulation of the attendance?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this scheduler or this what we worked on, I did it, I didn't do it. Who did this?
Andrea.
Andrea, thank
Thank
you.
you, Andrea.
Pretty
How the,
much shows,
how the conversation started was last meeting, remember?
yes.
And we were talking about having input from Ruth B. Cowell and different agencies, and then we talked about how what used to be called DARS, it's now called
Vocational rehab. VR.
vocational rehab. Our secretary started to mention, well, we have a lot of people from vocational rehab, and then we said, well, yeah, but it used to be separate agencies, now it's one. So she says, maybe we need to relook at how many people come from that agency to open up a slot for maybe Ruth B. Cowell or someone from Veterans Affairs, or, you know, to include other stakeholders to where we have a better representation of the community, you know, to facilitate our work. So that's how the conversation started. And so then we said, let's look at who's been out the most to see if maybe we need to have a switch.
And just to follow up, Mr. Chair, Dr. Ruthinger, you do have 3 members from workforce, because now they're together. Vocational rehab is part of workforce, so you have 3 members from workforce. In the original makeup, you wanted the schools, you do have both schools represented. Then you have consumers, you have Mr. Delgado, Ms. Haro, and then specialists, experts in the field. And you all have discussed about Ruth B. Cal, which is, I think,
A very
a
good,
critical
yes, I agree.
entity to include.
But to adjust for that, we need to look at membership and if we want to make some changes. We did mention, Becky, that we needed you to come more often because LISD needs to be represented.
I try, but I'm not as big as everybody else. I have to. But I'll
It's hard to-
definitely make sure I tell my boss that.
It's hard to leave,
I'm not the boss.
but you know, for example, the PSA that we got together, we had, we featured United, not to slight LISD by any means, and you know I would never do that. But we didn't have any film from LISD, so we went with what we had.
Yes, we did.
We do have some?
Yes.
Mine was
Was it
actually
turned in
done first.
Yes.
Oh, okay. A bad example.
I'm like,
Yes,
we were
Bad
there.
example.
We did provide everything.
Okay, erase,
Sorry,
erase,
I was
erase.
there. I saw that one.
Okay, race. But we do need for you to be here. Just because
No.
we have people like Elsie that come in and open up all kinds of, you know, information
Yes.
that would benefit the kids at LISD. So we need you.
And I'm going to ask my boss, and if not, maybe he can be the one on the committee because he is the boss, the director. I'm a supervisor. I'm not.
Someone who can come, you know, and be here more often would
But I
really
will
be
definitely
helpful.
let them know.
Thank you.
And just again to clarify, and we went through this through the city and legal, and our ethics all approved it that we can be on the phone. We can do
So you can
webcast
participate that
as
way.
well, but we do need someone because it is a public meeting to be physically here.
Yes.
That usually will go to the chair and the vice chair. But as long as someone is here to accept public comment, then others can, and we
That's
can
great.
try webcast, but definitely, you know, we've been trying the last
Even
couple of months.
FaceTime, Becky. We could do FaceTime with you.
We can do that, and certainly on the conference call. And that's all been, it's acceptable and it meets the open meetings act.
Beautiful. So on the other topic regarding membership, one of the things that we looked at is the possibility of maybe switching some people around so that Ruth B. Cowell can come, veterans can come, and I'm not really sure how to do that, but that was
Well-
something that was brought up.
I agree, okay, that maybe Ruth B. Cowell needs to be at the table.
Yes.
What I'm cautious about is that we've got a number of members that we are looking at that their organization condensed into one, okay? And so I've had time to reflect on this, okay, let's come bring this up.
Okay.
I don't think that we can make a decision. Number one, it's not our decision, okay? That belongs to the mayor, what he wants to do, right? That's number one. I don't think we have the authority to just pull people and say, okay, you're out, you're
Correct.
in. I think that's number one. The other thing is that when we had this discussion, Ms. Salinas, not with San Miguel, I don't think Mr. Delgado they were even here to be part of that discussion.
No, I wasn't there because
And so for me, it's important that those people who have contributed for many, many years, okay?
Yes.
That they just don't get a letter over the next saying thank you, but you're no longer needed, okay? I think it's critical that they understand that their participation
It's
was
valuable.
important and continues to be important, okay? Because they bring, I understand that they represent the same organization, but one of them is specializes in people
Vision.
with a vision impairment. The others, Ms. Sanchez used to be workforce, okay?
Workforce.
Ms. Ramos has to do with vocational training, okay? So I don't know if one of them can represent the other three or the other three departments adequately or sufficiently. That's all I want to throw into the fire, okay?
So,
And so I understand that they come from the same agency. But the agency has a lot of arms and legs and stuff that, okay, not everybody may be an expert, okay? in
at the
every
same
area.
thing.
And so before we move in that direction, we need to make sure that whoever is winning is who we ultimately make a decision whether they stay or go, or who represents the group, that they have the adequate skills to do that. Because we got to the point where we even said, well, workforce, Mr. Delgado also represents
true.
workforce. And
That's
so
true.
does that mean that everybody's out and Mr. Delgado's in? Okay, does Mr. Delgado have the knowledge and skills to represent all the others? And I'm not shooting you down, Mr. Delgado, okay? I'm just voicing or advocating
yes.
what happens to all those other individuals, including yourself, who have special skills and experience with certain disabilities that maybe not everybody has. And so I agree that, we've had this discussion before about Ruth B. Cowell because they represent those individuals with disabilities who are in rehab and stuff. I understand that. But for me, it's difficult also to say, okay, we're gonna remove Ms. San Miguel, Ms. Sanchez,
No, we
and
can't.
Ramos and include one, because it's like quite a bit.
Well, we
So
can't.
I just think that we have to have this discussion with everybody present, okay? I don't know how strongly they may feel about continuing to be here. And I know in other times we've said, well, we'll put them as advisors, okay? We'll bring somebody in and you're still part of the group and we'll make you an advisor.
Mr. Chair, what,
I don't know how much,
what we
what degree
can
of
do-
happiness that would bring.
what we can do, and we did it in the past, we'll update it, is a survey to
Okay,
see if they want to
Who
continue.
still wants to continue?
Who they recommend. And the question about parity that you've been saying, do we have the right makeup? I mean, the schools have to be here.
I agree.
So that those, as far as the decision that you all worked on bylaws and because there are none set out for this blue ribbon committee by city. Some of the commissions and advisories do have set bylaws or they're by ordinance. This is the mayor's blue ribbon committee. Mayor Sines has said that the makeup and the tenure is up to you all, to this committee. And so that was part of your discussion in your bylaws that you were developing and have to be, we also wish approved, that would address tenure, membership, how long, but he has left it up to you. And so you can have as big a committee or as small, the only thing.
So we could just add Ruthie
That's what
we
I'm
could
Cowell.
just add.
Why can't we just
if
add
we
Ruth
had to.
Powell? Do we have a cap? Obviously, apparently not.
Well,
Well, most of the
There is-
committees, apparently, based on the city's history, there's 10. It's rare that we have all 10 people here, okay?
Yeah, some of
Doesn't happen.
the, like the airline each is appointed by each council member.
You can just bring it in.
And so it's 9, and then they may have, like, drug and alcohol has some members at large. So the drug and alcohol is pretty big. We have 14 members because we joined with the county. But most of them are 9, a representative of each council member and the mayor. The Blue Ribbon Committee, who's been in existence for 8 years, you guys
Yes.
have tenure, is only at the will of the mayor. And he has said it's up to you. My only caution is the bigger the group,
The harder it is to come to a
The co-
consensus.
Yes,
The quorum.
then the quorum.
The quorum,
But-
that's-
But it's your decision.
I know, and it's so hard to get a quorum.
That's true.
But the decision is yours. I mean,
Okay, should we put it on the back burner?
I think
I think we should, yeah.
I think the last
Put it
time
on the
that-
back burner
burner
again.
The last time that we had this discussion with Ruth B. Cowell, I think that, I don't think it was you, I think it was Ms. Sanchez who brought this up,
Okay,
okay? And she wanted to bring in two ladies that represent Ruth B. Cowell. And I think that's where we were like, I guess concerned that they were
The number.
overrepresented, okay? And so we chose to go back to our bylaws and say, okay, so we're gonna cap it at 10. Okay.
And right now
and
you're
that's
at
what
10.
it says.
And so, is it fair for us to minimize or reduce or disallow the admission of some other organization because we want to keep it at 10? That's something that we need to reflect upon.
But I think you're right, we need to bring it up to everyone.
Yes.
And I think in all fairness to everyone, okay, everyone needs to be here and say, okay, we're gonna make a decision in this direction. What do you wanna do? There may be some volunteers that say, by all means, take me on. I don't know. No one's ever expressed that to me. By the same token, I don't want to just come across as though we're being unappreciative with all the
Of their
work
work.
that they've devoted over the years.
Yes, you know.
And so, and the other thing is, I don't know, is there somebody within that entity that can, can they convey all the needs and all the different arms and departments and disorders that they work with? I don't know.
Mr. Chair, I guess,
There is.
I think
There is.
you're right in
There is.
having them at the meeting and asking them.
There is someone.
Yes, I used to be in the Ruth B. Cowell board. I'm now honorary board member because I could make other meetings. But the director of Ruth B. Cowell right now was Jackie Rodriguez. She's been there for
She's
over
awesome.
20
She's there with
30
Lillian
years.
Dickinson.
Yes. Yes. She knows. We used to have a campus at Ruth B. Cowell. So
I remember
Yeah.
the babies.
No, Ms.
She would be
Rodriguez,
very
Jackie
knowledgeable.
is
very
She's
knowledgeable.
awesome.
Yes.
So Ms. Rodriguez could represent Ruth B. Cowell
Ruth B.
on
Cowell.
her own. Yeah, when I was making reference to several people, I'm talking about the different divisions,
And
I'm talking
workforce.
about workforce.
That's what we were talking
Because
about,
they've been so divided in the past that I don't know if somebody can just pick up
Well,
and say,
that one,
okay, well, I know enough about the visually impaired that I can represent them. I don't know.
See, the other thing we talked about, and just reviewing my brain, we discussed also that when they have a major meeting, they're gone, all of them. You know, that's another consideration. The voting power also was another consideration about if you have more, or you have less, or you have lots from one organization, they're gonna vote for that organization. Those kinds of checks and balance kind of things are considerations. And I think it's good that we discuss, but again, I think you're absolutely right. We need to discuss when everybody's here.
I agree.
You want us to bring this back at the next meeting?
And hopefully we have,
Fully discussed, but we can develop a survey and I'll send it to you to begin the discussion.
all right,
And that way it doesn't start from scratch and people are already
are
ready.
thinking.
Yes.
Well, somebody really feels like, oh, I don't want to really be in it, but I don't want to let them go, and you never know. I mean,
See, I don't know how strongly some of these ladies feel about continuing with us or not.
They're very busy ladies, who knows? Maybe they want to continue, maybe not.
I think a survey would be
We need
excellent.
to ask.
Okay,
Next
we'll,
time I-
Yeah, so,
we'll develop a tool and send it to you for your approval
you.
and then we'll get it out to the members. But you do have 10 official members in the Blue Ribbon Committee. Okay?
thank
Sounds
you.
good.
We'll look at that then. Thank you.
Good discussion.
Again, well, I apologize, but we need you so badly. We need you.
Okay, thank you. The next item is the showing of the PSA.
Mr. Chair, what we wanted to do is here get your direction. Already you've developed it. It's nice.
We have two ready to go.
So if your approval, then we can start airing it.
I would say yes.
And we'll
Can
send
we
it to
vote?
you. We'll send it to you so y'all can see it if you
Yeah,
have
That
it.
was the only I saw. I would love to
You
do
need
it.
to add.
I would
We
love
already
to.
It's
added
a
it.
nice
Nice
video
video.
with
Let
the
me double check,
student
but we
and the
already added
employer.
it. He said he added it.
Yeah, no, we have it.
I see.
There was
So-
some numbers or something that we were gonna be adding.
But we
Yeah.
already did, right, Andrea? So we've
So-
added it.
At the end of the first one that we had developed, we wanted to write down the contact person.
Everything was added, right?
It was already added right when we were there.
You send
So
it to us, I can see it.
we'll send it to you all
And then the
one more
second one,
time. We should
we
have had
did
it
it.
on
We
for you
completed it.
to see it.
It's okay.
But if you all are okay, so we can get it disseminated.
But it would be good to send it to all of us
We
too.
will send it to all of you so you can see it, but they're nice and they get the point. The young man talking and the employer saying that he's one of his best employees. And then you see the confidence of the employee himself with special needs working and being happy, productive. I mean, to me, it's very powerful PSA that you all did.
And this will be shown to,
Well, I just need your approval, and we'll get it out through public access, we'll get it out to the media. You know,
We've
we
been
can do a
waiting
press
for a while.
conference and announce that this is an updated promotional item from the Blue Ribbon for people with disabilities and show, because I think it's pretty powerful.
I think so. Let's go.
Thank you.
We can move forward with that.
I think we should. It's been ready for some time.
Yes.
Okay, then we'll send it out to y'all, and all it needed was the contact, and that's been added.
That's already put,
So we'll
that's
send it
already
out to
been
you.
put there.
And for your final approval, and then we'll disseminate it.
Okay, thank you.
Do we just respond yes, yes, yes? Okay.
Unless you wanna rewrite the script.
I s-
No.
Hey,
Yo no.
I sent you a link.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Did you see it?
I
For
haven't
Child
had a chance.
Find?
Yeah. Yes, yes, I looked at
Okay.
it. Thank you so much.
Okay, well then Dr. Gonzalez will send us the last essay, right?
Right,
With
the
edits
final-
and
the
everything,
final
or okay. Next item is update of City of Laredo MOU with workforce vocational training rehab for internships and work experience.
Mr. Chair, and Ms. Gutierrez is on the line too. She can also contribute, but I can tell you that the city has signed an official MOU for the SEAL program, the Summer Earn and Learn, to various departments. This summer, I think there were 4 departments, Ms. Gutierrez, you can correct me on that, that had
Yeah, that's correct.
that had kids with disabilities and had a wonderful experience for the employer as
Beautiful.
well. We just got an MOU that HR is reviewing from workforce on the year-long program. Then there's a third program for any age group. Because
Beautiful.
you know that the SEAL is just for youth. And so we've asked for a meeting between city legal, risk, HR, workforce, contractors of workforce to look at these other 2 MOUs so we can proceed. We haven't gotten a date, Ms. Gutierrez, because you're a vital person to participate in the meeting as well as committee members. The city manager has said if you all want to participate to get your input in the MOUs, because you all did, Mr. Chair, you and Ms. Gutierrez participated to get the Earn and Learn going. That's where we're at, so I'm waiting for a date, Ms. Gutierrez. I don't know if you want to share anything else on the
Yeah,
MOUs?
I think the only thing that we have right now is that the current, work experiences, 2 are going to be for individuals under the age of 24. And then there's one that is specifically through the workforce that is going to be year-round, but that one is for adults, but it has certain stipulations as to how many weeks or how many months they can work, and then how they need to be monitored. Unfortunately, the VR program doesn't have year-round for 24 and above. So there's a little glitch there that maybe through collaborative efforts we can go ahead and work on to include individuals above the age of 24 into a year-round work experience, which is why the MOU was birthed, because the individual that we wanted to place in the city is above the age of 24, so he doesn't quite fit into the VR program, current program that we have, and he didn't fit into the year-round program that they have with the workforce program. So I'm still just working at developing, I guess, at chiseling away the areas that need to be taken care of. So I'm hopeful.
And thank you, Ms. Gutierrez, for that and for continuing to bring this to the table. And that's why we've asked for a meeting. So we're waiting for a date so we can iron out all these details of these two. So I think they're great, a year-long program and then a vocational.
Beautiful.
But we want to make sure that it's inclusive of all age groups.
Yes.
But the
Yes, that's
city,
right. That's the most important thing.
and to the credit of the Blue Ribbon Committee, has a formal on the summer earn and learn. And this summer, it was several departments participating. And they do want to bring back the students to highlight them, give them a certificate. We have a council. There was miscommunication the last council, 2 council meetings ago, and the students showed up. So they did recognize them and made some comments, and very, very good comments from the students. But the city does want to, the mayor does want to officially
Formal.
recognize them, have you there, have workforce, and give them a certificate.
Beautiful.
But they were there with their parents. The parents were also very thankful for the opportunities. And we had 2 of them here at the health department, and we have in the past, and I can tell you that
Excellent, right?
they've done a great job, So that's where we're at, and soon as I have the date, Ms. Gutierrez, we'll let you know, we'll let the committee, because I think that was the extra little support when we met with the city manager on getting the seal, the earn and learn approved. But that one is officially approved. We
Good
have
job.
an MOU.
That helped.
Now, if I may add just a bit of information, the young man who we're working with, I asked him, I say, hey, I said, would you like to venture out and go somewhere else? And he says, no, he says, because I believe I can make a difference if I just stick around and I wait for this MOU. He said, I waited this long because I think I can make a difference and be a trailblazer in somebody else's life. So I commend that young man for wanting to make a difference and for being patient with the city of Laredo, because he says, I know that this is the right thing right now for me, and so I'm going to sit it out. So if he can sit it out, we all can sit it out.
Gutierrez, thank you so much for all your work.
Nice
No
job,
problem.
Ceci.
Thank you so much.
And of course, Dr. Gonzalez, we wouldn't do it without you.
That's right.
So I'm glad to hear that the partnerships are continuing to be enhanced and grow. Next item is does anyone have any announcements to make?
Yes. I'd like to announce that next month, on October 15th, we're making arrangements to the White Cane Awareness Day, and October the 15th, which is the official day for the White Cane Walk. So we're making arrangements.
Isn't that a
We're already speaking with the mayor and Ms. Luz Garcia. I don't know if you met her. She takes care of a lot of children who are blind, and we're making arrangements for that day. I already sent a copy of my proclamation I received last year, so you can start making a new proclamation for this year.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Delgado,
Yes.
Are you making arrangements to have it at City Hall like last year?
It's the same, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I send you a copy of the email that maybe you can help us
Yes.
make arrangements for the permits and all that? Maybe I can send it to you, Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, please do, and I'll share it also with the committee.
Yes, I'll email it to you.
And the mayor has said he's ready to walk again,
Yes, he's ready
blindfolded,
to get blindfolded again and walk.
Yeah, he's quite courageous.
And how about you, Mr. Castillo?
Last year,
I
Chair.
cheated last year. I started blindfolded and then I
Well, we cheated at the movie too.
He says,
And also, we are making arrangements for next year for the movie event. We want to do it twice a year. So let's see what happens.
That's good. Thank you for all your help
Yes, sir.
putting those together for us. Any other announcements? Okay, so I guess we can adjourn.
Is there a motion?
I make the motion to
Any
adjourn.
second?
Second.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Elsie.